for Michell University. Today we're going to be working with SAP Business One, and we're going to go over the concept of the drag and relate functionality. For the purpose of the demo, we'll be working with SAP Business One version 9.0, but this is also available in the earlier versions. This webinar is being recorded. It'll be available on our website, so you can visit us at www.michellgroup.com to view this as well as the others in our training series. Let's talk a little bit about the drag and relate. You can see here on our menus, and I'm using the Cockpit menu here. So here you have the modules, the My Cockpit, and the drag and relate. On the standard menu without the Cockpit, you would have along the top, you would have the modules, the drag and relate, and the My menu up here. So it's available in both systems. Here it just happens to be here. And what the drag and relate allows us to do is basically it's an on-the-fly reporting tool. It's like a query. If you're using queries in SAP and you want to write queries, it's just a fast way of finding information really kind of on the fly. Let's take a look at that. So if we go here, first of all, under modules, I'm going to go into inventory and I'm going to open up the item master data. Let's go here and let's just, let's take this item here. All right, and now I'm going to open up the drag and relate. So the reason why we call it drag and relate is we can take information, say, for example, this item master, grab it, and we can drag it or drop it onto other information here. So here in our drag and let's open up our drag and relate. So let's go here into sales and AR. We have some modules. So you can see we have financials. So we can relate this to accounts, to journal entries, and to journal entry details. We have in our sales and AR, we have sales quotes, and then sales quote details, sales orders, and details. The difference is that for example, the sales orders are going to give you open the different orders that this item's on. The details are going to actually give you the actual items themselves. And the reason why we call it drag and relate is because we can take this information, so we're going to highlight and we're going to click on the mouse on our item number, and you can see here we're going to drag it and we're going to drop it on sales orders and let go. So here we're looking at all the sales orders. Again, we can do some filtering. So right here we have status, open, and close. So we want to look at just the open sales orders. So we can go to status and we can say starts with in our filter. Say O for open. Click OK. And you can see now we're looking at all the open sales orders. And again, we can click directly into one of the sales orders right here, and we're actually in the sales order itself. So here you can see the information this way. We can also do multiple fields. So let's say we want to see all the open sales orders from, let's say, Norm Thomas here. So we can go back to our filter. We can say we want to see, let's go here to the name. And again, you have some options. You can say equal to, greater than, less than for values. Since we're looking at a name, we're going to use the starts with here. So it starts with Norm, and we're going to click OK. And you can see here we have our information. When we see this highlighted filter, it means we have our filter turned on. So again, very simple. We can, again, see real quick that for the case of Norm, we have these sales orders open here. And again, allows us to go into the system in very detail. If you want to do a, for example, sales order details to see that particular item, because that's showing you all the sales orders that have that item, but there could be other items on there. If I want to look exclusively at this, I can go to the sales order details. And again, I can either, just going to grab the description, and I'm going to drop it on sales order details. So again, you're looking at the sales order details. You do have some filtering information here. Again, you can filter by a quantity or price and so on. And the rules are, you saw before, we have this equal to. If you use the equal to, you're only going to enter one value like I did the starts with. If it's greater than, again, less than or equal to. If you want to do it within a range, you can actually do a range. You can do here. So if we do a range, we can go and we can say from a value to a value. It makes no sense on this to do a range. We would do a quantity. So we would go quantity, let's say in the range of a quantity, and we went, say, from 10 to 50. And again, we're looking at that range. Do 10 to 12. And again, obviously, we have a couple of 11s here and so on. So we could do it that way. So in the range and out. So it allows you to do that. And again, all this information you see here can easily be taken into Excel by just clicking on here. What we can do is then we can export the information. We can save it. Again, you can leave it as a text file. You can basically save it as an Excel file, and then you would just save the file. So again, it's nice. We can grab that information very quickly. Again, on the fly, grabbing information, we can use it to then, bring in, and we could do some further analysis on the information. So let's see. Again, so we can grab this item. And again, see here we have no matches. Okay, it makes sense because you wouldn't really have an item in a journal entry. So that's why you get the no matches if something doesn't exist. But again, since we're dealing with items, we can go here under, say, warehouses. We can drag, and we can go to warehouses, and we can see that this item is sold in all 4 warehouses. Again, we can drag, let's say, shipping types. Again, this item has these shipping types. So again, on the fly, here's our shipping types right here. Again, quick on the fly manufacturers. We only have one manufacturer, but again, if we grab it, again, you can see all the manufacturers that are related. So again, a quick on the fly way of doing things. You can look at production, if there are production orders, production details. Let's see if this is available in any production detail. And again, you can see that this item here is on all these production details here, again, in the system. So normally what you would do is in the drag and relate, you would start off with something like that. Like, for example, let's pick a business partner. And then the same thing. So if we pick a business partner, let's pick Norm again. And we can do the same thing. So obviously it would make more sense. So now, for example, business partners, we can see, do we have any activities for Norm? We can go here. We can look at activities. We can see, again, we have our activities. Again, in all these, we have our filtering capabilities, so we can filter on stuff. We can look at any campaigns going on. Do we have any campaigns for that Norm's involved in? You can see here he's involved in these campaigns. So again, just a quick way of grabbing, accessing data. Again, you don't have to go run reports and search. You can just kind of do it on the fly. And again, that's the campaign. So if you go to campaign details, again, you're going to see the ones that Norm is involved in, and so on. Any blanket agreements? Yeah, we don't have any blanket agreements for him. I want to look at his contacts and so on. Again, very easy way of doing it. We can all do this. Now here we can use this for journal entries because you can do a journal entry to both a general ledger and a BP. So if you go here to journal entries, you have a lot of journal entries because in SAP, when you do a journal entry, for example, this is here for an AR invoice. You can see that Norm was involved in the invoice here. So we have that. I don't know if he has any account, if he's going to be involved in the accounts. Yep, grab it and drag it. And come on, and drag it onto the accounts. And he does have those details. So again, you can see here because that's the control account. So you can see everything being credited, debits and credits on my control account. And again, you know from working with SAP, if you double-click, you can sort on any of these columns. And whatever you want to look at. And then everything can be taken into Excel. So what's nice about it, what I like, is that the drag and relate, again, allows me, it's kind of like creating queries. I could, write a query by using the query generator, and we do have a webinar on that. If I was to go to the generator and actually create my own query and see it, but here it's kind of like these are queries in themselves. So it's kind of an, again, on-the-fly query. For example, purchasing, we normally wouldn't really have anything for Norm because he's a customer, so you can see here he has those no matching records down here. So the drag relate is good because it depends really what you want to see, and you can do some drag and relate into a couple details. You can do a few of them, so you can say, for example, let's have our business partner open. Let's go here and open up our item master data. So we can go here. So let's go into, say, sales and AR. We can grab Norm. We can go to sales order details. And you can see how he has all these items. We can go here. And we can drop on our items. And the same thing, we can take our items, go to our sales order detail. And now we can do those two. We can do a comparison of these two and see what's going on as far as that information here on the drag and relate. So we can open up, and again, you can see all the information here. We can do our filtering in the drag and relate sales order details. So we want to filter. We want to go to item. So let's say, and you can see all the items here. And again, we can filter through if we wanted to. Again, we could choose that one item. So we have all our items here. So again, the drag and relate, the purpose of it really is to do on-the-fly reporting, then take this report, click Excel, and then you can save it as an Excel or a text file. And then you would save the file, and then you can use it to bring in Excel and do some additional manipulation of the data without affecting the data within SAP. And again, this works with any field. So if you were to grab, again, as long as it's unique, so if we go to the federal tax ID, we go to sales orders, we should get a match just as the same, because that's unique to Norm. If you choose something like, for example, the group construction here, okay, that's not a unique thing, so see, you're not going to be able to grab that because it makes no sense on these that are not unique to just Norm. Like here, the telephone number should be unique to Norm, so you can drag that. Again, this information you can drag. This information you can't because it changes throughout the system. Same up here. You can actually drag the account balance. And you're going to go to AR invoice. And that's what makes up all these AR invoices. And again, we're going to look at the open ones. So we would filter. I'm just going to filter on O. Okay, and you see that's the aging right here, that way. You probably wouldn't use this one. You would probably just click on the arrow for the aging, but I just want to kind of show you how that process works. So again, to recap, what we talked about is we're looking at the drag and relate. The drag and relate, what it allows us to do, it's an on-the-fly kind of reporting tool. It's really a query. It's an on-the-fly query that's being created. Just like I can go into tools and queries and query generator and create a query based on a condition. Like I want to see all the open sales orders for a certain business partner, or be able to enter a business partner and do that search. I'm doing the same thing. What I do is I take data from one of my other files. So here I'm looking at the business partner master, let's say. But again, I can do it on almost anything if I did it on a GL account or so on. And what I can do is I can take a field. So in this case, I'm looking at Norm as my business partner and what I want to look at Norm. So obviously here under Sales and AR, I can look at quotes. If I drag onto here, I'm getting just the quote itself. And again, I'm looking at open and close. Now what I can do is I can click on here and I can get that quote. So you can see that quote has, again, all the information for Norm here and all different items. It's just an open quote. So I can look at that way. If I'm looking at something, again, I can go here to my table filter down here. Again, I'm just going to go back to my status. I'm going to say starts with O, because I just want the open. So I can see that Norm here has 3 open sales quotes. I can then take this information, this quote here, and I can drag it onto, say, deliveries. There's no deliveries here. Let's see, take it on sales orders. And you can see the sales order. Again, what I'm looking at, we have here under this sales quotation 29, you can see here's the sales order, and you can see it's based on that. There's that relationship. So you can, again, get, depending what you want to see, you can get really detailed into the information here. Maybe you have these quotes and you want to go into inventory. Now you have these 3 quotes and you want to grab this quote and drop it on, say, item groups. Again, these are all the item groups that are related that you can see here and so on. Same thing with an item. So if you have, obviously, an item master, let's call this one up. So things related to the item. Again, you're going to see, you're not going to really see too much related to the business partner with an item. So if I drag and drop, you're not really going to find matches. But since I'm dealing with items, you know, you can be looking on your sales, purchasing this item. Let's see how many purchase orders we got that are here. Again, we can look at open, filter on open and close. We can look at goods receipt. We can look at how many times we get a credit on this. So we can look at an AP credit memo details. Again, these are all the credits. So again, a lot of flexibility as far as what you really want to look at, depending what you're looking at. I use it a lot for clients for situations where somebody comes up and says, hey, you know, I have, you know, why am I showing these committed when they shouldn't be committed? Or, you know, I have this, you know, when I run a report, it says I have so much in stock, but I really shouldn't have that much in stock. So again, you can use this kind of drag and relate on the fly to take a look at different things. Okay, so let's recap what we went over today. We talked about the drag and relate. It's one of the modules here. Okay, the drag and relate, I'm using SAP Business One 9.0 for the demo, but this is available in the earlier versions as well. Since I have the cockpit turned on, I'm actually getting it this way. If you go to the standard SAP, let me just open up another session here without the cockpit. Let's open up this one here. So this one has the cockpit. So when you have the place, the cockpit is kind of a replacement for the My Menu. So when you activate your cockpit, and we do have a detailed webinar on the cockpit, so I'm not going to show you how to turn this on, but it's here. Then you have, again, your modules like you would have in the standard SAP. Here's your modules. Here's your drag and relate information. And then the My Cockpit is what you're using here. Without the cockpit, you have along the top, you have the modules, the drag and relate, and then the My Menu. See if we come up on this one. So you can see here, this user, Sophie, does not have the cockpit turned on. So this would be what you would see without the cockpit. But again, you have the modules here. Here is that drag and relate, same functionality, and then you have that My Menu. So again, you would have the same information. So it would work the same way. You would go to Modules, go to Inventory, go to Item Master Data. And then you would click on Drag and Relate here, and then you can work the same way. Same principle, where you turn it on. So that's what the Drag and Relate allows you to do. Again, it's that on-fly tool. So typically what you would do is you would open up normally a master record, you know, something with an inventory, something with a business partner, you know, even you can even have an order open. Say here's a delivery. Again, something's going on strange with this item here. Then we can open up our Drag and Relate, and then we can look at, say, inventory, and take this and, again, look at warehouses, and so on. So a very nice tool, very flexible within SAP Business One. Again, it's an on-the-fly, we're kind of on-the-fly query generator, reporting tool, and all this information can then be exported into Excel. Let's go to take Earthshaker here, and let's look at activities. And again, you have the filtering capability and all these, so you can filter into the system. Basically, the filter allows you to filter what you see on the screen here along the top. And you can do, in the rules, you can say it's equal to. In that case, you'll get one value greater than, a value smaller than, greater than or equal to, smaller than or equal to. Again, not equal, contains, does not contain, starts with, ends with, in a range and out of the range. So here would be the ranges. So if you went to say, let's look at, I guess we can do the date. We'll go to here, the date activity, and we can say in a range, and we're going to say, let's see what we got here. Let's say 03/01/12 through 03/31/12. If that works. And again, we have one in that range right there. And again, you can just turn the filters on and off, clear it. But then this information can then be taken into Excel, which you can then, you know, use it to massage data or do whatever you need to do with it on the actual system. Again, it works on any of the fields. Okay, so that concludes our webinar today. Like I said, this webinar is being recorded. It's going to be available on our website. You can visit us at www.michellgroup.com to view this as well as the others in our training series. And we thank you for your time.